Sport Week of the Washington Star, printed in Washington, D.C. on August 16, 1970, quote, "Three of Bruce Lee's pupils, Joe Louis, Chuck Norris, and Mike Stone, have between them won every major karate tournament in the United States. Joe Louis was Grand National Champion 3 successive years. Bruce Lee handles and instructs these guys almost as a parent would a young child, which can be somewhat disconcerting to watch. It's like walking into a saloon in the Old West and seeing the fastest guy in the territory standing there with notches all over his gun. Then in walks a pleasant little fellow who says, 'How many times do I have to tell you, you are doing it all wrong?' And the other guy listens intently." Unquote.
But tell me a little bit, you set up a school in Hollywood, didn't you, for people like
Yes.
James Garner and Steve McQueen and the others?
Yes.
Why would they want to learn Chinese martial art? Because of a movie role?
Not really. I mean, most of them, you see, to me, at least the way that when I teach it, all type of knowledge ultimately means self-knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they are coming in to, and ask me to teach them not so much of how to defend themselves or how to do somebody in. Rather, they want to learn to express themselves through some movement, be it anger, be it determination, or whatsoever. So in other words, what I'm saying therefore is that he is paying me to show him in combative form the art of expressing the human body.
Which is acting, in a sense, isn't it?
Well,
Or it would be a useful tool for an actor to have.
it's, it might sound too philosophical, but it's acting or acting unacting. If you...
You've lost me.
I have, right? So what I'm saying, actually, you see, it's a combination of both. Here it is the natural instinct, and here is control. You are to combine the two in harmony. Not, if you have one to the extreme, you will be very unscientific. If you have another to the extreme, you become all of a sudden a mechanical man, no longer a human being. So it is a successful combination of both. So therefore, it is not only, therefore it's not pure naturalness or unnaturalness. The ideal is unnatural naturalness or natural unnaturalness.
Yin yang, eh?
Right, man, that's it.
One of your students, James Coburn, played in a movie called Iron Man Flint, in which he used karate. Is that what he learned from you?
He learned it after.
Oh, he went
yeah.
after he played in Iron Man.
Right. You see, actually, I do not teach, karate because I do not believe in styles anymore. I do not believe that there is such thing as like Chinese way of fighting or the Japanese way of fighting or whatever way of fighting, because unless human beings have 3 arms and 4 legs, we will have a different form of fighting. But basically, we have only 2 hands and 2 feet. So styles tends to not only separate man, because they have their own doctrines, and then the doctrine became the gospel truth, that you cannot change, But if you do not have styles, if you just say, well, here I am, as a human being, how can I express myself totally and completely? Now, that way, you won't create a style, because style is a crystallization, that way it's a process of continuing growth.
Talking about the Far Eastern philosophies, I was just wondering if you ever practiced Kung Fu or any of the other martial arts.
Kung Fu, yes. Bruce Lee was a great friend of mine, and we used to work out together for a long time. It was very close. We were very close friends. And
He was a very interesting gentleman, wasn't he?
Bruce?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. He was a groovy guy. Yeah. I was very sorry to see him go.
What do you think made him so unique?
Well, he related everything, his whole life was related to martial arts. He lived, breathed, fought, moved, everything was dedicated to the highest principle of his own self-evolution. He created himself. Bruce Lee was a little Chinese guy who demanded of himself great excellence. I mean, he was a true artist in that respect. He created himself. And that's what I think. He was an unusual man. He was beautiful. I don't know what to say about him, you know, because of the perfection that he achieved was awe-inspiring. I mean, he was the fastest moving person you've ever seen. I mean, you'd reach out and pew, he was like poo, poo, all over the place. We used to work out at his place, and he had a 700-pound bag hung on a big L iron, you know, or what do they call them, stuck in his patio, and it would on a big spring. He would kick that thing and double it over. And I would kick it, and it would double me over.